Hello, everyone. In today's challenge, we will be creating a responsive bottom navigation bar and adjusting it to at least three screen sizes. The goal is to make a clean and flexible and fully responsive uh, component, no matter the screen size. Bottom navigation bar is also called the navigation bar, navigation bar and a tab bar. So to create this, we will use the auto layout properties, nested components, and even ignore auto layout trick. And then we will make it responsive using constraints, auto spacing, and fill container. We will be using Google icons in this challenge and in future challenges now, and familiar grotesque font. Here I have found you some inspirations from Mubin. This is Monzo, and you will see that this has beautiful highlighted state. It clearly shows this screen is selected, and there are three other options. This is left. This is not particularly a good example of listing down all the icons without any text, because as a user, for example, even in this case, I'm not sure what these two are about. So And if I did not know what Lyft was about, I think it is a hail right now, sorry, the van getting a booking app, something. So if I did not know that, I wouldn't be able to guess why these two icons are here. So having copy uh, text right next to the icon is good UX practice. Here we have another example in our beautiful app Wise, and you will see that they have highlighted their primary action in the bottom navigation. Here is another My Fitness Fall, beautiful bottom navigation. Look how beautifully they have highlighted the current state, and I also adjusted the search within it. This is Klook, and they have some other elements to bring a user to notice that they need to click here to see other details. And this is from Canva. So let's try to create our own. Here we have I have gathered all the assets that we will be needing. So we have five outlined icons, and all five of them are here in the filled state. Then we have text for all five of them, and then we have two styles of badges. So first I'm going to do is this thing. So they have same names, home and home. What I'm going to do is rename. I'm going to keep their current name, add a slash, and then outline next to them. Then I'm going to select the filled ones, rename, and then I am going to keep the current names slash filled. So now all of them have this type of icons. They are written right next to them. I'm going to pair both of them and create a set. You will see the word before the slash is now the primary name, and after the slash is the name of the property. So this is how Figma recognizes the naming. Um, so let's make this. Now I am going to select all five of these layers, and I'm going to use my styles that we created. Some of these were created in the color layer. I will be using a whole bunch of them since this is not a first project, but yeah, I'm going to apply my styles into this. So I want all my components to be in one color for now. And then I am going to make my layers into one color, and I'm going to apply this text property. So bottom navigation can have smallest possible text, which is 12. So I'm going to choose 12. But if you run into situation where like there are longer words, maybe destination or some other words, all five of them are longer, or maybe two of them are longer, so you probably will need a 10 size text. But any size which is below 12, you can select 11 or 12. They need to be bold to be readable by the user. So for now I'm using 12, and let's see what happens, and if we do run into situation. Now for these badges, this is a badge, this is a frame. Let's add it again. So this is a frame of 6.6 by 6, and I'm going to call it badge I am going to give it a fill, red, so it is noticeable, or maybe purple. I want to make this purple, so let's make it purple, and I'm gonna give it good shadow. Then I'm going to make another copy, make it a little bigger, and then I'm going to bring my font and paste it here. 12 sized font again, and make this badge bigger and apply auto layout or content, and width will be 24. Let's add 0 for the consistency into it. Maybe make it bold too. Sweet. So now we have all the components we needed ready. I'm going to select it and see if there is something I have not applied so far. So the white layer, the text here needs to have white color applied to it. We have created the components and applied our styles on them. Now I will need. So you see, let's analyze this. This is a whole component, and within it has two variations of small components, base components, I will say. So let's try creating the base components now. So I will need my, sorry, icon. I made a copy out of it. Then I'm going to bring this layer next to it. I am going to select them, and within them, I want the spacing to be, actually 6 is good. Let's apply Shift A and make it hug content. And since when you apply auto layout, Figma has some properties, it just applies to them. So the home layer is now filled. We need to make it hug content, or maybe, yeah, let's make it hug content. And let's name this layer navigation and nav base. Okay, this is the state that now let's make it a little lighter. So this is the default state. So I'm talking about this default state where it is not selected. It is a little gray. Now I am going to copy it and I'm going to make a selected state. Selected. So our selected icon, I will select that one here from here. And I probably want to make it bold. This is an optional thing. You can make it bold, like the font bold when it is selected or not. But I definitely want to have its color changed. So I'm going to select this purple that I'm using here too. So I just did that. Now this is a default state. So I am going to add slash default, and here it is the selected one. So I am going to add hash select, sorry, slash selected next to it, and I am going to create it a component set. Now state, I'm going to name the property state. So you will see that state named property has now default and selected state. Now what screen size I am designing for? So let's choose one size. Let's choose 321 and bring our item here. So in these challenges, we try to use I try to make components in a way that when there is a need, you should be apply and we actually figure out what to apply and how to apply something. So here I have brought my first component, and you can see that I will be needing 5 of them because the goal is to create 5 items. We should not have more than 5 items in the bottom navigation for good UX purpose, because more than 5 items increase the cognitive load on the user. So I have 5 items, but the problem is here I select the item, I need to go within each item to do the editing and stuff. So I want to uh, try something else. So since these two icons are different, I won't be able to apply a property on them, because if I apply the property, it will be reset to default. Sorry, wrong place I have clicked. I was supposed to click here. So if I apply this property, you see it has reset the component to default. So I'm going to turn it back because both of them have different properties. We can't touch them. But this home property, we will be able to apply the text property on it. So let's call it label. So text property is label, and let's create this. Just make sure that you from the drop down, the create drop down we have selected. Um, Let's go back. Sorry. I'm talking about this drop down. We have selected the property, not the variable. And here again, I'm selecting label. Let's create the property. Now we have everything set up here. This needs to be default. This makes sense. But by making default, by applying that property, it has reset my color. So I'm going to override that again. So this needs to be purple. Sweet. Now let's go try. And I'm going to do a little trick here. Since I have a lot of components within this file for different challenges, so I'm going to add 5 behind all of these 5 so I can find them easy. This is just for this video. Let's rename them. I want 5 in the start and then the current name. So 5 has been added. Now I'm going to select this layer and apply use search. So for all with the 5 in the beginning will be listed closely to each other. Then I want add. Then I want the library. Then I want the profile. This person icon. Sweet. So we are good with everything here. Now let's update the text. So I'm going to select the component. I'm just copy this, select this and paste it here. Copy this, select third layer and paste the text property. Then copy. Sweet. So we have updated all the 5 items. Now for this particular one, the playlist, I'm thinking that we should have something like this. So if there is any changes into the playlist, we can show them this way or this way. Maybe there is a new playlist available from the uh, people I am following. So let's add the something for that situation. So we have these two badges. This is a dot badge. I'm gonna add dash dot and this is number 1. So badge number. So I'm going to create a component out of it, component set. Okay. So I will, I'm just going to copy this badge and now I am here on my layer. Why are you doing this? Sorry, I missed this property. The icon is 800, sorry, 600. The copy is also supposed to be 600. Yeah. I don't know where I missed this, but yeah, you can update. That's a good point for with the component that you can change the details in the components and they will be reflected in the variants. So now let's add this dot. So when I select this layer and I paste, I have copied this Control C and Control V. So when I paste this, we have a situation. We don't want it here. And if I move it, it will be just, moving like this because it has inherited the properties of this component. So we have this beautiful option, ignore layout. We will be using it. So let's click on it. And I am going to use this align tool to bring it on the top. And I want it to be aligned. Let's zoom in and see. I'm going to add a stroke to show you what's the size of these items. So this is the component size. This is 24, but the icon within it is 24. By the way, I have used 24 by 24 icons because they are the safest size for anything that we are creating and that is touchable and can have some padding around it. Now, this size and setup, l- I want this to be aligned to this icon. So what I want to do is align it on the top. I did that by using this. And then I want to select these two layers, my icon and my badge. And then I'm going to select this alignment tool to place it on the right. Okay, so you can place it like this. You can also override if you want the property to be in the center or maybe on the right, but I think center is safe because we don't want this to be aligned to the component because there are still 2 points left here. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna remove the outline here. I'm gonna copy this and I'll paste it here. This will inherit all the properties that I brought from here. So we won't need it actually within the selected state. We can get rid of this. Like it's the decision you take. So I here you see it has added to everyone. Now we need to fix that. We need to select this, and there is a property we can use using appearance. Select here, show badge. It can be true by default, and now I have to select the layers I don't want it on, and I just turned that off. It looks horrible with this icon, so we need to fix that. So maybe the number one. Hmm. It looks more bad. Let's try moving it a little above. So again, I'm gonna add the this for the reference. So I don't want this alignment, the right one, to be messed up, but I am using my arrow keys 1, 2, 3 to nudge it up a little above. Okay, now this is in good spot. Maybe 3 points beyond this should also help. So I'm also moving 1, 2, 3 points to the right. It can vary on what icon set you are using, but for myself, I figured 3 points, like aligning it to like this, was better. So it's just a decision you take on what kind of design you are creating. Now we have all 5 items that we want in our bottom navigation. Now I'm going to just space them equally. There is this icon you will see when you have selected some layers. If you don't see that, you can go here, sorry, here in the position section, and distribute the horizontal spacing. And I think 8 point is more than enough. I am now, you see the problem? All of them have their own widths, 30, 36, here 24, and definitely that is not working for us. So we need to know that the touch area for Android design is 48 by 48, meaning this is not going to work like 24 size. This 30 is not going to work. This will work. This will. So we are like, we don't have the right options, sorry, right widths. So let's do something. So there is one way you can do is just manually go and select these two items and make them 48 by 48. So if we do that, all of the like all of them will have a width of 48, but there will be some calculation involved. Give it a try and see what happens. uh, right now what I'm going to do is, right, I am just going to select them and apply shift A on it. So it has a gap of 8. Now what I'm going to do it in my screen, you see you will have some setup that, sorry, the layout. You will have some grids, 4 lines grid, and you will have some margins, maybe 20 or 24. So if you have 20, like this area is 20, we will use that padding. We will need that padding. So I'm going to apply that padding to right or left, both side 24, and I'm going to align that to the side and at the bottom, and then I'm going to drag it to take up the space. So now we have this, like all the items, we have added the padding, we have made the size fixed. Now what? There is this property, like I am going to select enter, so I can select all of layers here. So I was selecting this frame one. Let's name it to bottom navigation. Bottom navigation. And you can press enter, and all 5 items within it will be selected. So here we have this thing called um, filled container. So you can do this, or you can do this. So let's revert. And there is one more thing, like other thing that you can do is this gap. You can make it auto, and it will give it the space, like even space, and you will see that it has distributed all the items evenly. I don't like that part, like just applying the gap without fixing the size. That's why I absolutely like the to do this fill container thing, because now this item is taking up a certain width, and we can, when we make it bigger, it will be bigger. So if the mobile is wider, we will have more area they can touch on. So let's see when we create the bottom navigation. Okay, now what about the padding on the top and the bottom? So it right now it is having like this component that we made had the height of 46. So this is just inheriting that. We want to have, so the smallest touch area is 46 for something. Sorry, 48. And we want some padding around it. So the top navigation and the bottom navigation items, they need at least 56 size in height, and which is a little less. So I'm gonna try to make it 64 and again fix it at the bottom. Now you can see like the frame and stuff. Now we need to make some decision. So this screen you can see will have some items on it, and when you scroll, this bottom navigation will be fixed at the bottom, and we don't want this it happening, that the items in the background can be just s- can are visible as they pass through it. So I'm gonna need to add a fill behind it. So now, so you can give it some. So there is a platform material design 2, and this is material design 3, and they have this whole section which is related to bottom navigation. You can give it a search bottom navigation here, and then here too. Here too, it is called navigation bar. But you will read a lot of rules and regulations of what we can do. But here is the quick thing that I want to show you. In material design 2, there was a drop shadow to highlight that from the background, to differentiate it from the background, to make it look it is on the top. And now it has just in it just bottom navigation just becomes in a different color. So what they're talking about is this. So if the background color of the screen, I'm going to select this white color, and they also this also has the same color. So now if there is nothing behind them, it just looks the part of screen. We don't want that. So we, assuming this is the content behind, we want it to stand out in a different way. So let's apply the material design 2 style thing. I'm going to add effects. By default, when you apply the drop shadow, it gets applied at the bottom. So we want that value to be transferred on the top. So let's make it -4, so it can move up. Now, whatever value of we have x or y based on what kind of shadow we are applying, this needs to be a little more than our the position values. So I'm gonna make it, actually 3 is good. Let's make it 3 and make it 6. The blur can be 6. And then we want it to be not this dark, maybe this gray. And then we can also reduce the opacity to 20%. Even if I remove this, you see with same backgrounds, we can now still see that the bottom navigation is different. So this is the design that is for material design 2. Now material design 3 suggests that we just change the color a little bit. So we will have different colors of elevations. The background will be can be in different colors. So we can just have it a little, add a little tint. And honestly, you have this example too, that you can just invert the color to something really dark so it stands out. That's the another way we can do. Third thing that is you can try from the design perspective is just have it in the same color as the background, and in from the strokes add a stroke and give it a slight stroke, maybe a little dark. Yep, here. And from this control, you can select only top, so it is not around all sides. And sweet, we have this. Actually, you know what? I don't like the size. You should make it a little bigger. Now, 72 looks good now because it has enough padding and stuff. Or we can try reducing the spacing between these items, which is 6 for now. So let's make it 4. Yeah, now we have the sufficient side padding. And you will see these 3 ways you can have bottom navigation prepared. So I want to finalize this one. I'm going to bring it here. This has home selected. So I'm going to call it bottom navigation home. And I'm going to make a copy. I'm going to call it search. The second one is search. Then the third one is add. Then next one is playlists. and then the profile. So now I am just gonna select home ones and make them not selected and turn off the badge. Search will be selected here. No, sorry, wrong selections. This. Now I need to update the icon here. Since we could not apply the property of the search there because these two different were different, that's why we need to uh, fix that by doing some manual work here. So let's do make this default, make this add. Here this is selected. Update the icon to playlist. Here we have the selected one as profile. Sweet. Now we can select all 5 of these layers and make it a component set. Now this was our test. I'm going to put them at the size. I'm going to bring my screen again, which is small 320 with screen SE small mobile. Now what I'm going to do is just bring my home component. So there are few things. Now we have used auto layout. Now we are left with, and we are also used ignore auto layout, by the way. So now let's talk about the nested components. If there is any need, you can apply them. So within these, if you select, like if you have a base component and then that base component is applied, like are paired to create a new component, which is bottom navigation. Like this is a level component, child component, and this is a big component and it has sub components. So what I'm going to do is select this big one, and if I select this item, it will give me an option to do the nested instance. And here we are using 5 of them that you can select. So in the, they have four names, same names. It can be tricky, but you can hover over them to see. So first one is for the home, second is for search, this and this. So for fourth one, we are sure that we will be in need to sometimes show the that badge we added. So I'm going to select this. Now when I bring out the component copy, I will see a navigation item has like a control, which has this drop down next to it, which shows that this has nested properties applied to it. So here, from here, instead of clicking all the way here to select and control, we can just turn off the badge from here because it won't be visible on this all the screens when we are actually working with the designs. So yeah, this will help you with the what do you call it, this third item, nested elements. So we have talked about all these three and our component is ready. I am going to bring it here within the screen and I'm going to align it to the right and at the bottom. Make sure that you choose these alignment control to the right, to the bottom. When you do that in the constraint section, if they are not already open, click on this section to see them. So this will have left and bottom selected. If not, then you can select like this, bottom and left. So we have this ready. Now we are in the situation where the screens to be bigger means we need to design for any reason for Android compact, and this is a 4412 size screen, or maybe another size in an Android medium, which is maybe I think this might be the flip mobile. So if I redesign it, sorry, if I just resize it to 700, or even the width is changed by 412, what should we do? So here I'm gonna add manually, make this 420 screen 412. This is crazy. This we can't handle this. This way, this means we will have to go on each screen to handle this. Look, all at all places. So I'm gonna control Z, press Control Z, and I'm going to select this layer. Instead of left, I am going to select left and right. So when this constraint means that now it is tied to left and right, and when I resize it, it will take that behavior. And then the other item should that we need to have selected is just bottom, not top to bottom, just bottom. Now let's resize it. Now I want my width to be 412. You see, all of this is resized. Now I'm gonna add little strokes around all these to show you what's happening. So remember that we added a property that the all of these items should take, fill the space, whatever is given to them, excluding the margins we have added and the spacing that we gave it. So again, with this component, we have gap of 8 points and padding of 28. So look what happens. Now 4, 12, just they have more space, they just take more space. Now this way what happens is that when you use your thumb, like you are on a bigger phone, you still have access to all these items and they will have plenty of space. Now you will have plenty of space to touch. Now let's make it 700. Now look at this. So it is taking all that space. I'm gonna just select all these items and remove this setup. So this is how you can just create a bottom navigation. Now I have just messed up with the width, by the way. Now since we have in the restraints, this has constraints of being sticky at the bottom, because it is going to be at bottom like always. So now because of this, if you resize the screen like this, if you resize the screen like this, it will be working to the smallest size screen possible, because we designed it for 320. After less than 320 size will mess it up. 568, sorry, 568 was the original height. So below that, if we go 280 or 150, definitely we can't entertain that those screens. So from the screen that we designed for to some bigger screens, we should be able to handle it, because we used these properties of auto layout, which was fill container, and these setup. What do you say? Yeah, fill container. Now we need to talk about a little about auto spacing. So if you read material design, you will see some setup. So I'm gonna copy this whole component, and I'm gonna go all in all of these sections and make it fixed width. I want all of these to take 48 width, or maybe I want, yeah, 48 actually is a good spot. Now I want to select all of them, and instead of giving them a gap of 8, I am want to take them all the space. They are given with like distributed in the gap. So I'm gonna make it auto. Now if I go here and bring this component here, let's look at this. I'm gonna add the strokes to show you what happens. Again, apply the same constraints, left and right and bottom. Now, if I resize it, you will see that the space is being distributed in this as a space. Now, the problem with this design is that if you are using and you like in ideal case, we will have different states, or when you press this area, this area, it will have a press state. So if somebody clicks here, nothing will be selected. But here in this case, we are giving them a lot of space to touch. So if they even click somewhere around here, we help the user select the profile. Okay. So yeah, I think that's why I prefer this setup over this. So that's another thing. The so we have talked about all these things. Now let's talk about a little more detail. So we just talked about having the touch area, and we figured that, you see, with this, it has a nice height of 48. We should be in good spot, but we can have some extra padding with this base component to make it a little bigger. So now it will have more area that can be. That's why I didn't add in these components. I did not add any padding on the top and bottom. Instead, I gave it a fixed height. So if there is any change we need to do in future, it won't affect the height. Now, what you should do is to add another state, like what happens when this is pressed. What happens, actually pressed, it will be the only state we will be needing. There won't be any need for, what do you say, no inactive state or nothing. So let's make a press state. So I'm gonna press plus and I am going to call it pressed. So you see all the future components are ready, means they are in use, and by one time I realize, oh, we need to have a press state. So with the components you should be able to fix this problem at any point. I'm just gonna keep the outline here. Anyways, so we are here. Press state by default, we just make this. We bring a circle of 48 by 48. We call it pressed, and we are gonna cut and paste it within it, and then apply ignore layout and place it within this as like in center, and then we are going to send it back using this layer control. So if it is in the bottom, you can bring it on the top, so it will be at the back. Hmm. Now about the colors, we probably want it to have a little bit of purple tint when it is pressed. Hmm. Okay, so what happens? Let's see. So if this is clicked, I am going to press. Sweet. We have this. This will you will find different variations of how this can be done. Like some people will place it on the side and uh, like it will have different variation. I just like to place a circle in the center and tell the developers. So user, if user click in this area, let me copy this and see. So if user press in this area, this circle just indicates that wherever user presses, this circle will just appear there. Um, so that's why I added this press state. And yeah, actually we are in good spot. So let's reset to the every nonsense we have done this here to show you different stuff. Let's default it to here. Now we have our bottom navigation ready, which is responsive when we resize the screen, and it provides maximum of a good user experience. See you guys in another video. So let's improve this a little bit. So this is the basic level one that we created, and you see that the Canva one, where the center add button is a little more interesting in since it is the primary button. And here in Canva we have, sorry, here in Wise we also has one of the items stand out, and I think that will work fine with our this particular case. So let's do that. So you can create a component within this, like another variation of it. So I want to do, we can do that, or we can have another component, like we can create another component. So actually I want to try creating another component. So I am going to bring my this icon here, since the default one, okay, we are like past the default one now. No, I want to add auto layout. So I'm going to press Shift A to add some padding around it. And I am going to name it add, maybe nav item, then slash, not slash, add, like this. So we can find it easier. I am going to give it a fill. So let's give it a fill. So what should we pair it with? Not the purple one, because our highlighted one also will always have this purple, like all four of these tab 1 2 4 and 5, they can be purple, so we want something else. So let's find another color quickly. Let's choose this blue one. No, not for the, sorry, icon. I'm going to give it a fill and then add it that blue, and I'm going to give it maximum roundness, maybe 1000, so like it is round, just to make it round at any size, like for any size. And this color will be white. I'm going to make this a component. I'm going to copy this name. I'm going to come here, just make a copy actually. I'm going to select this fifth layer, and one we can try to just you know do this thing, improve the component. One, I wanted to test it, so I just made a component copy, and I'm just going to name it add for now. So we know that this button is better. Sorry, that a little different. So I'm going to select all of add layers, and from the drop down, I'm going to select this add button. Since we have applied the property of by like all of these layers had the fill property, I want to reset it and make it fixed with hug content. Or we can try resizing it, resetting the size so it doesn't resize itself. Now I'm gonna select all these layers and I want these to like to be no to have top alignment. This is bad. So we are in the situation where I need to align it in the top and I cannot do it without adding another layer. Don't worry. So I am going to go in the base component. Easiest way is to figure out what is the spacing it is taking. It is taking top and bottom 10 spacing. I'm going to select all of these layers and add that number here and then align it so that 10 part is excluded. So yep, we have added that blue setup here. I'm going to copy it, paste it here to show you what we did. Yeah, they color definitely don't look well together for now, but let's bear with me. And that's how we have added 40 by 40 sized element here. We can try another thing actually. So if you go, we won't see it here, but if you go and explore bottom navigations on Dribble, you will find another setup in which this icon, this here right here, is on the top, a little on the top in this area. So we can try that too. I'm gonna make another copy so we don't lose the progress. So add floating. So for that there are many ways to make it float, but what I am going to try is so this is a 50 width thing, and I am going to add a rectangle, so not rectangle, a frame which is empty. I'm going to add it here, and I'm going to bring it in center, and I'm going to set it to the same setting, which is this, like it has a fill width setting and the height is 52, so I'm going to give it a height of 52. I am going to copy and paste it to all four of them, move using arrows. Now I am going to select, so we can give it look, we can give it the name empty, rename empty. Now I'm going to select all these icons, the plus one, and I am going to make them independent of auto layout, which is ignore auto layout. Then I am going to press alt. Then I'm going to see these options that all of them should be aligned. Like if I align them right now without pressing alt, they will be aligned to each other. So what I want is to press alt and align them in the center of the frame. And then I am going to use my arrow keys to nudge it up a little up, right where I want it. Sweet. We might want to reduce this space to bring the other items a little closer. So maybe I want to give it a fixed height of 40. So yeah, this looks sweet actually. Now let's try this one. I'm gonna make a copy of this screen and I am going to paste this here. So for this particular one, we might want to add a little bit of shadow or maybe a little outline right next to it. So we can like this item was not working. So let's make it -3, 3, and then this is 6. Let's make this shadow and make it 20. Here we have it. And if you don't see for any reason, like if you are working and you don't see that plus icon floating and hanging right at the corner, you need to find this option, clip content, and uncheck it because it is not showing you the items that are outside, a little outside the screen. So now we have designed quite a few variations of it, and maybe we want to make for this one, since this is here it had some padding, here it doesn't have any padding. So we want to do is to lock this ratio and make both sides 48 48 and then align the items in the center. Then we probably need to realign the items in the center again. Sweet. Now we have updated it like this. You can also try, like it's I can't stop experimenting right now. We can probably make this a little bigger, but I should stop here. So we have now quite a few variations of the designs ready here. And see you guys in another video.